The question is, would you like to make 13 to 14% fixed income and a chance of capital appreciation as well? और ये जो 13 से 14% आ रहा है ना, ये टैक्स एफिशिएंट भी होगा, मतलब फुल टैक्सेस नहीं देने होंगे.
My name is Arpit Arora. I'm India's leading personal finance expert and passive income coach, and I'm on that quest to change the middle class of India and transform their financial life in such a way that they are able to have the potential to follow their passion. They have the focus to follow their passion. They are not distracted by money because they're creating enough passive income, and most importantly, they're able to live with inner peace and joy. And that, my friends, happens by winning the game of money. That happens when you upgrade your financial IQ, and that most importantly happens when you are committed to achieve financial freedom in your life, because it cannot happen without a commitment. And it is my commitment to make sure you get all the support that you need to walk and achieve that destination.
The question is, would you like to make 13 to 14% fixed income and a chance of capital appreciation as well? और ये जो 13 से 14% आ रहा है ना, ये टैक्स एफिशिएंट भी होगा, मतलब फुल टैक्सेस नहीं देने होंगे. If I say this, does it sound interesting enough to know कि exactly ये कैसे हो सकता है? Because I found one such opportunity. It is very much possible. So recently, I was learning about InvIT of Power Grid. So InvIT stands for Infrastructure Investment Trust. Power Grid is a PSU which is basically into power transmission, and they are directly, obviously, attribute of the Ministry of Power. The InvIT that they launched, the price of that InvIT has been crashing since from the highs of 142, as you can see on the screen, to a low of 109 and 108 just yesterday or day before. At this point, the dividend yield, even if you invested at 109, would have given you 13.63. Currently, the price is somewhere around 108 or something. So if someone invests now, for sure they're going to be making between 13.5 से लेके 14% का dividend yield from it. Now, the last price that I see that traded on Friday evening, as I can see on my screen, is 100 and still loading up. So anyhow, 108, 109, that's where the price is. The dividend yield as per this will be somewhere in the region of 13.5 से लेके 14% तक. That is the fixed dividend yield you will get from this. The dividend yield will not stop because this is power transmission. So unlike other InvITs, जैसे toll का InvIT होता है, toll roads का, जहाँ पे because of COVID there was a lot of movement that stopped. Energy is never going to stop. So energy ka dividend yield is the most consistent dividend yield you would ever see, because power will always get transmitted unless a natural calamity happens and the power grid gets destroyed. Oh, that's probably the only situation. जिसमें इसकी consistency नहीं आएगी. So making 13.5% return on a PSU unit, जिसमें power का transmission is the source of income, that sounds like a very safe investment, right? Does it sound like a safe investment to you? PSU, energy transmission, as stable as possible. I also thought like you initially, and I really wanted to invest. But that's when I started using my other side of the brain, the analytical side. I went to Screener, where I do some part of my research. I went to screener.in, that is the site that I use. And I went there and I started looking at these things. I looked at the Power Grid Infrastructure Investment Trust. The first thing, so when you look at the screen, सबसे पहले, what is the one thing जो सबसे पहले it is catching your eyes? The company has a negative return on capital employed and a negative return on equity. Means they are not able to generate enough income. In fact, the return on income is lower, which is why the price has fallen from the highs of 140 to up now coming to 108. So the last price it traded at, अभी 109 दिख रहा है आपको, 108.17 was the last traded price of this. So it is consistently hitting a low because of the same 108.31, as you can see on the screen. So that is a big problem. Now I compared it with its competitor in the private space, India Grid Trust. 7.74% का return on capital employed, 8.78 का return on equity. Clearly, and the price trend is also holding up after this. So इसका correction 150 से आया 128 पे, now it's trading at 137. And for Power Grid, if you look at the same thing, it went to the highs of 140 से 108. So the price, they often say, is the biggest reflection of what is actually happening. All technicals, all fundamentals price में reflect करता है. So should you invest into this? I later then understood कि how the Power Grid InvIT is working is simply, it is a holding company of Power Grid, the stock itself. And because it's a PSU and because it's in negative earnings, there is no reason why we should buy InvIT which has negative balance sheets. The similar thing also happened in 2020-21. A lot of our investors insisted to invest in UP Power ka NCD, which was giving 10-11% ka return. But the balance sheet was negative. So we never invested or suggested anyone to invest. And UP Power is obviously backed by the UP state, which is further backed by the central government. So if you look at it, everything is safe. But is it? Why invest in something which is giving you a negative return? Chahe wo backed up by government, backed up by sovereignty क्यों now? This is what is a new mindset about money. This is what we need to enhance ourselves to, because Warren Buffett would never do it. Any value investor would never do it. So we should not get attracted by high dividend yield, which a lot of us do. A lot of us, I see when I speak to a lot of people, they get very much inspired by investing where the dividend yield is high. So we should not just only focus on the dividend yield. If the underlying asset is not profitable, it is not sustainable, there is absolutely no reason why we should invest into avenues like these.